Welcome, beautiful downtown Cancun, Mexico. Show you the view I'm looking at. All right, I wanted to put that behind me, but the glare's too much. So, um, excuse me, I don't have the technical ability of a lot of these YouTubers. Okay, guys. So, but this is important. It's not really terrible. I've rebranded the channel for now as False Flag Attack, New York City, NYC, April 18th. Okay, to make a point in Astro Tarot. So over the next few days, I'm going to do some videos like this where I'm going to talk about some different charts that I have. Now, on this channel, a few days ago, is up a video that is looking at the chart of the USA. And the chart I'm using for the USA is the one with the Sag ascendant at 12 degrees, okay? And so if you want to look at that, look at that. And I'm looking at it around this date of the 18th of April, guys. And because if you're familiar with this looking glass thing, the Guardians, okay, I'll put a link in this video. There's a link in the other video. That's what I'm looking at. And so the reason I kind of got into all this, when I woke up in the morning the other day, and I had watched about the looking glass stuff in a few days before, and it's kind of on my mind. You know why? Because it sounds horrible, but stay with me. It's the most positive thing that I have heard of in decades of conspiracy theory. I've been a conspiracy theorist since I was 15, and especially since 2007, and well, 2008 really, when I had this autoimmune attack that almost killed me. And I had to dig in and really do research because bastards would have killed me. Doctors, I'm telling you, it's like I just had to ignore everything they said and figure it out myself. And out of that, and trying to figure out which I think I figured it out. They said I'd be dead in a year, and here I am. It's 2022, and I'm kind of crippled and not 100%, but I'm here. I'm not dead. So fuck you. and thank you, God, so that I am alive and I have amazing love in my life. So what I wanted to do was tell you, like, okay, it said, hey, check out the chart, Dave. That was all I heard in my head. Just check out the chart, Dave. And I knew what it meant. It meant check out the chart of the USA on the 18th and look at the transits and see what you see. And so I said, okay, I'll do it. So I did. I wrote an article, put it on my blog, which is called Monkeys Throwing Feces, blogspot.com. Nobody pays any attention. I just use it like offline storage. So, but I have all kinds of stuff on there, mostly not political. Some of it is. But I like to write Cancer Moon, so I'm big into poetry. I write fictions. There's a lot of short stories there, original work. But I mainly use it as this offline storage place because I'm constantly crashing, computers losing everything, and I'm not really smart enough to back things up like a normal person. So, which is why I don't have the technology to kind of show you this chart. So I'm just gonna give you a shot of it with the camera, and then you can screenshot it if you want, because you won't find this chart unless you go to my Facebook page. I've posted about it there. Not recently, but you know what, I will. When I'm done with this, I'll go into my Facebook page and I'll post a little brief article about this and post this chart just to have the chart there. Part of what I'm just want to get on record, about this looking glass event. With this chart, how I got this chart was in 2007, after 5 grams of magic mushrooms, and after months of growing them myself and trying to heal myself with the whale shit at the bottom of the ocean, depression and suicidal ideation, I had a breakthrough experience with the heroic dose, as per Terrence McKenna. Thank you, Terrence McKenna. I think that he saved my life. So when I was experiencing the mushrooms, afterwards, really that 25th is, and the 25th of February is when I had my breakthrough experience, and that's also the chart for the new creature, because after that experience, I couldn't sleep for 5 days, and I thought I was going nuts, and I had my head in my hands one night. I was at the laptop. I didn't really have laptops back then. Had a computer, And I just thinking to myself, what happened? I think I broke my mind. I think I might have really screwed up. I think I made myself crazy. And because I'm going to work all week and I'm not sleeping, I'm just kind of laying in bed meditating about 3 hours, force myself to relax, and my mind is just, and I could just feel like, it felt like the steel beam was kind of into my head the whole time. And so I'm sitting there and I'm just about in tears, and I'm just like, what is going on? And that's when the voice phenomenon started. And the first thing I heard, which was really a thought in my own mind that was clearly an alien thought, but other than that, at the time, I thought of it as an entity. I dutifully wrote down all of the experiences. I'm a writer at heart, and so I'm also working on a book on the mushroom experiences. I call it Following the Mushroom Path. And I'll be starting a new channel with my other YouTube account soon. I don't know when, maybe after this 18th thing is over. Because if nothing happens, what I want to happen is to be stopped. I want it to happen, but be stopped. But after that, then I'll probably roll into that, and I'll just be doing astrology, and probably won't be doing a lot of tarot. And I may throw in a tarot reading on this as we go along over the next few days. So what I heard was, I am the new creature, and I'm here to save the biosphere. My head popped up, and I was like, okay, that's nuts. Because I really didn't consider myself nuts. But I thought that's fucking nuts. And I'm like, I know what biosphere is, but it's all come together over the years. What I got to write about is complex personal cosmology that I have. So that's where that chart comes from, and I will bring that up on another video, maybe tomorrow. I've already done the USA video. I'm going to do this one on the AI, or the machine I call it, and then maybe I'll do the new creature. I hope to. But what really I'm looking forward to, and I'd love any astrologers to look at this, and please jump in there and say whatever you want to say. I'm not a mundane astrologer, I'm a personal astrologer. I'd say I'm, and not a master astrologer or anything. I've been at it 5 years, eat, drink, and sleep astrology, and I know a little bit. But I've had to do a quick learning course on mundane astrology just to approach this, okay, with some alacrity. But then we'll skip that and fast forward to how I came to this chart of the AI and the machine, which is a gift, I believe, and I think it's real. Okay, so on 2009, and this is the date of the chart if you want to run it. It was February 12th, 2009, in Ruidoso, New Mexico, where I was living with my ex-wife. Okay, at 7:30 p.m. and I wrote it all down immediately. And I was sitting and reading a book, and my wife was reading a book, and I think we each had a drink, and we were just relaxing in the evening there. And I heard very clearly, and this was an auditory hallucination, which comes from the outside as if someone's speaking. Mostly what I have is clairaudience now, and it's not the same what I have now. It's an integrated thing that has to do probably with my higher self, and like when I heard run the chart, David. It's that kind of thing, and I can just feel it is different. What happened in 2007 is something was cohabitating my mind. I now think of it as a symbiotic creature. The new creature was a symbiosis of the mushroom mycelium. If you know anything about this, it goes deep, man. It goes deep what the mushrooms are and how they live and what they do, the function they perform in the forest, with connecting with neural networks, the roots of the trees that communicate and send energy and everything. And they facilitate that. So it's no surprise to me that they facilitate ourselves, our own connection essentially to our higher self or to God, my belief. But so in 2009, I'm sitting there. Now the voice experience ended. For me, it ran from about the 25th, from the 30th of February, or maybe the 1st of March, if it was 28 days. 5 days after I took them on February 25th is when I heard that first voice, and then it just kicked in and it was on me, and it's very wonderful. They were loving and kind and wise. Like I've never, I when they left, I just cried because I didn't know. I thought maybe this is how my brain would be the rest of my life. So, but they left after 5 months or so. It was on June 12th, 2007, and they said you were done. That's all they said, and they stopped. So I hadn't, experienced that from then, 2007 to 2009. And then I heard this as clear as day: the machine is upon you now. May God help you all. And I just got a chill and the worst feeling, and I immediately just kind of, without thinking, I said, "Did you say something?" to my wife, and she looked up from her book, said, "No, why?" I didn't say anything because she already thought I was crazy. After all the mushrooms, it's just a lot. There's a lot. Why write a book? It goes on and on. So I said nothing. But I knew what it was. I immediately put my book down, got my laptop out, and I started looking on anything to do with an AI. Did an AI go online somewhere? Well, they're not going to tell you, but I had to give it a shot. I was looking at all the science. I looked for hours and hours at all the science stuff I could find, reporting, articles, and just for anything that might indicate. But then I realized, well, because I was already pretty woke by then, I already realized, well, whatever this is not, it's probably, in the military and industrial complex. It's not going to be something that's going to be public, And then when it comes to the machine, the only other thing in 2007 that these voices are, I alternately think of it as it and them, because it's like when I had the mushroom experience and the ego death. There was no person, there was no time, there was no person, there was no beginning or end. There was no cadence, no sequence. I believe it's the reality. This is not the reality. That became clear to me. This is this restricted space that we're in, I call it the body machine, that our soul inhabits to experience this life. So the only other thing that it said, it's kind of long, and it was the longest thing that they ever said in my mind. They were usually very succinct and always about me. They were helping me to grow and to resolve these emotional issues that brought on the suicidal ideation and everything. And it was amazing, what they did for me in those 5 months. I want to say they made me perfect. I got to admit, when they said you're done, I thought, man, I was enlightened. That illusion lasted about 2 months. I ended up going to the Bitter Roots in Montana to just get away from things and think about things. We rented a cabin there for a few months, and I ended up finding a hypnotherapist who was a biologist, amazing woman. And I said, I need to go back into this and figure out what's going on. So she helped me integrate it all and break from any illusions I had of grandeur and thing or whatever. But you got to understand, when you go from the place I was at to the place I went, it felt like enlightenment, kind of, it was such a change. But so the only other thing they said that was global in nature was, they said, if you connect the mind of man to the mind of a machine before connecting the mind of man to the mind of a plant, the biosphere is doomed. So twice they said biosphere. That was a thing. And I knew what that meant in a way. It's like a Zen koan. Spent years like just wrestling with it and not wrestling with it and sleeping with it, thinking about it. And the machine is clearly an AI. It's what's happening to us. It's the reason why I'm interested in the Looking Glass and why I think it offers hope. Well, it does offer hope. It flat out offers hope if it's real. And guys, we're going to find out. Today is what, the 14th. I mean, it's only 4 days away. So if it's real, then a large white panel van parked in Times Square in New York City will explode with a dirty bomb and kill thousands and be blamed on Russia. Now, my hope in all of this, and why I'm doing this, because I probably seem like a blooming idiot. I'm changing the name of my channel. I want to get into gambling. I'm a light worker. I'm a healer, but I'm sorry. I believe light workers and healers need to get their heads out of their ass and stop saying I don't watch TV and I'm going to be positive, because they're slaughtering us. This is not a game. Very soon now, people are going to be without food. I mean, it's on. This COVID attack, I saw it for what it was. The COVID was an attack. It's part of the Agenda 21. It's been theoretical for many years. It's not theoretical anymore. I mean, it's ongoing. The Agenda 21 is ongoing. It's not off in the future. It's not on a guide stone. It's here. You may have lost people. I'm sorry if you did. I didn't, I've been speaking out against it from the very beginning and trying to be helpful. Of course, you never see people told me, I wish you die. I hope you die from COVID, David. And I knew what it was. So it's part of this transhumanist agenda. They want to create this totalitarian technocracy, where we're most of us will be killed off over a period of time. And the remaining ones that are lucky enough to be alive, they'll be, chipped and dipped, I call it. So again, that's why it's so important. So I kind of knew back then in 2009, 2007, what the machine meant. I was a little unclear on the part about if you connect your mind to the mind of a plant. And, I don't know necessarily that they meant like everybody should just eat mushrooms or something or smoke pot. I believe it was like literally. There's someone help me out here. It's probably some science. I think of the book The Secret Life of Plants I read years ago. If you've read that, something along those lines, that instead of working so hard to create a human cyborg with a machine, why not work as scientists to create a human connection, cybernetic connection with a plant? I mean, I think that's what they're talking about. But really what they meant was the wisdom. Like we don't have the wisdom to take the kind of technology that's exploding with us right now. And because we don't have the wisdom would be grounded by returning to what can be symbolically seen as the plant mind, we're going to end up destroying the biosphere with the technology, because we just don't have the wisdom to handle it. We're like little kids that don't have any wisdom, and we have adult toys. It's like think of it like what we're doing. We're like a 3-year-old playing with a loaded gun, on the living room carpet. Now what's going to come from that? Nothing good. The safety's off. Okay. So I think that's kind of what they meant by that. And so that's why I say when I heard in 2009 that the machine is upon you, I knew what they meant. I knew it was an AI. I knew it was an AI. There's no doubt in my mind. Now, I wasn't even that deep into astrology then. But a couple years ago, I went, oh, shit. That's the chart. I got to run the event chart from 2009. And when I looked at it, you saw it. And I'll talk about here, really in terms of everything, but in terms of these transits too. It's a little scary, a little scary and real. And I think this is real, okay? So, what I want to say too, when I look at the whole 18th thing, and I don't know if I've emphasized this enough, I don't really see an explosion. What I see from the astrology is there's a lot of talk about the Russians hacking us over time, and I think, and I've been kind of getting psychically, and I mean, people have been talking about this from a practical place. I had this discussion with my Mexican girlfriend a couple of weeks ago, because I said you might want to talk to your daughters and family about this a little bit, and just to say, like, if the phone goes out, don't panic, stay calm, but they're going to take out the internet, and I think it's coming soon. So when I looked at this chart for the 18th, that's the attack I saw. And I think what they're going to do is take out the internet. They might take down the power grid. I think they're going to take out the phones. So imagine all of a sudden goes off, and you're sitting there with no internet, no Facebook, no whatever it is you're on. Your phone doesn't work. And nobody hardly has books anymore. um, and holy shit, think about it. I don't know. I was telling my girlfriend, I think in Mexico, I'm not really sure it's going to hit like that. You gotta understand, people. America's a target. It's always been a target. America's not America. There is no America. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit. There is no Democrats, Republicans. For the love of God, stop saying. Stop. If you're a Republican, just stop it. If you're a Democrat, just stop it. It's the main way they mind fuck us. All of the Republicans that are, a lot seem to be awake, are in this echo chamber of the woken, I call it, and they seem to be these conservatives. And of course, the Christians, I think, kind of get it because it matches up with their mythology, I'll call it, or Christian doctrine. But the quote unquote liberals, they're locked into the mainstream media. Well, these things, I'm just gonna call them, I don't know what the fuck else to call it, that are actually running things, because it ain't the president. The president doesn't mean. I mean, that should be obvious right now. We had Donald Trump for 4 years as reality TV stars, and now we got this senile guy that can't even complete a sentence. So, how important can the presidency possibly really be? I mean, I don't know why this isn't obvious to anyone. But just stop it with the left and right wing. It's only about what's right and wrong, not left and right. It really, really is. That's like so important. So that kind of explains why I'm looking at this, crazy as it may sound. Okay, and I'm gonna look at my screen here. So I don't know where to start. The thing that stands out for the most to me with this is that Pluto is at 28 degrees. It's stationing for retrograde. It's opposite my moon at 27 Cancer, so I'm up on that. And what's really at play? Hold on, because I don't have the. I hope I have the one with transits here. I don't have the one with transits. No, I have the chart that has the anyway, let me talk. Well, I'm gonna have to get on the internet and pull up my astro and pull up the transit. So because Pluto's on Mercury, and Mercury's a chart ruler of the AI. If you look, he's Virgo rising here. It's a Virgo rising. Okay. And so that means that Mercury is a planet ruler of the chart, and same with me. So that means that it has a lot of importance in the chart. And I usually say I'm a personal astrologer. I work with the emotional healing, integration, and evolutionary astrology and spiritual, evolution. And I really love working with healers and light workers and psychics and that kind of thing. Most of all, so you've got this transiting Pluto, which is huge in Capricorn. There's a lot you could say about that. I mean, if you don't know about it, the biggest thing to be said about that is it's America's Pluto return. I talked about that in the other video a little bit, but there's just Google America's Pluto return. There's master astrologers talking about it everywhere. So it's a big deal, and it's basically it means that Rome fell during its Pluto return. How about that? So it really means the transformation. Pluto's about the transformation, depth and transformation of something. So it takes 250 years for Pluto. So it's a theoretical construct. It's not going to happen for us unless you link up with what's coming, and yeah, you'll be 250 years old. You can enjoy a Pluto return, but I'm just going to die. Thank you very much. I already made up my mind. When the singularity comes, no. I'm going to take, not a Christian, but I know I got a soul because I've been there, done that. And I ain't putting my soul in no goddamn machine. This is not going to happen, man. I ain't afraid of death. I ain't afraid of death for a lick. So, But now, so this incredible 28 degrees, and it's going to stationing for retrograde now, so it's slowing way down. It's grinding away at that 28 degrees, and it's on what? Mercury. Now, in an event chart, Mercury is communication always, but it rules the first house. That's the infrastructure of the nation, I believe, from what I read about the mundane astrology. So, mundane astrology, jump in here, comment. I would love it. Anyone pay attention, talk to me, educate me. I'm open. Just trying to get this out because I think it's so important. I think I can add something with the AI here. So, you figure it's also going to, Mercury rules planes, plane flight, trains, all of that kind of stuff. So, as well as commerce, general commerce. So, could be like an interruption in commerce. Now, let me see if I can remember what I was using because I pulled some really relevant. Well, I know I had the asteroid Soul because I was told to do that one. I think I had some really good asteroids in here. And every hit with the asteroid with this chart and with the USA chart was well under 1 degree. So a lot of these are under half a degree. So normally I do use asteroids. I pick them and choose them depending on what I'm doing. Never done this before, but so frankly, a lot of the ones I'm pulling are kind of the dark ones, okay? Um, and so we had Soul and we had Psych. Yeah, we're going to do that and Eris. Thank God. I can't remember anything, but I can remember that Eris is 136199, bitches. Neptune in the third house, okay? That's what that is. Learning Spanish is a bitch, but astrology's a language, but it's also really just astrology's about relationships. If you're that person that gets relationships, you'll get astrology. It's about how each planet has its own thing. Mars wants to fuck or fight, Venus wants to make love and harmony, and Mercury wants to talk, and the moon is about feelings and the unconscious, and they're each trying to do their thing, and all them little lines are showing you kind of how they're doing their thing together. That's all it is, to simplify. All right, so now we got our transits. What the heck is that? Prolo. I put 147. So I want to look at the asteroid Dejanira, and for abuse, I think that's relevant here. But the first thing that leaped out to me was that Pluto conjunct, Neptune conjunct of natal Pluto. And that kind of made me think again that this could be about the taking down the infrastructure of the communications and possibly the power grid. But I'm right in line with these so-called guardians from this looking glass that would be a false flag. So if they tell you Russia did it, no, Russia didn't do it. And I'm not saying Russia's good. I don't really care about Russia. I'm not Russian. Care about America. So it's just, that's what they're gonna. Look, if you still think 9/11 was 19 Arabs with box cutters that are Muslims and hate us for our freedoms, then goodbye. Roll over and go back to sleep. I'm not out to try to wake anybody up. I'm just trying to do my thing here, okay? But if you're not there, then you probably, because this is crazy stuff, okay? If you look into what the looking glass is, it's not really all that logical. So what you have when you look at this chart with the transits here is that the other thing that really jumped out at me besides the Pluto Mercury, which is ominous enough. I mean, again, Mercury it's change and transformation, but it's death first. So, and we're in this Mercury return, and the Pluto return, and Pluto's at 27 degrees. Okay, 1 degree off of this, in the natal chart of the USA, not this chart, in the event chart. So that makes it pretty kind of ominous what's going on there, with Pluto being on the Mercury of the AI and at 28 degrees, and the Mercury of the AI is at 28, and the Pluto of the American chart is at 27. So they're a little bit less. I looked at a little bit less than a 1 degree orb. I mean, that's tight, 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 tight. And so, that's just putting some real darkness onto, and you could also say, Mercury is the conscious mind, it's the intellect, it's the left hemisphere. So it's the conscious mind and the communication of the America, so when you look at the Mercury in the American chart, I don't remember where it is, but the fact that Pluto is here on Mercury really gave me pause. Okay, now the other thing that really jumps out at me, and when I was told to uh, pull up Alma, Dave, the soul is what the asteroid Alma represents, and that's at 20 degrees 00. And you have the descendant here of the machine, the AI, at 17 degrees, okay? Pisces, and Alma's at 20 degrees. So now it is an asteroid, but it is the DC, so I'm going to put that on the DC. I'm not exactly sure how to take that. I'm thinking about it. But what's amazing, Saturn is in the first house at 20 degrees 10-minute separation from an exact opposition. Saturn in retrograde in this chart of the AI in the first house. Now, and Virgo. Saturn in Virgo starts a lot of wars. There's astro historians, and when you see Saturn go into Virgo, it's when a lot of wars start. Why? Saturn gets into Virgo. Virgo wants to argue, wants to take down and restrict and limit other people's, um, you know, opinions. So when you have Saturn here on the AC, I think you have the United States. Saturn on the AC in this chart of the machine kind of goes along with this idea that I am absolutely right. And it's all about control, and it's completely opposite the soul. I mean, do I even need to explain that? I mean, this machine would have no soul, and you will have no soul if you allow yourself to be put into this fucking matrix that's coming when they have the singularity. And they'll say, well, you can live forever. Have somebody explain it's like a new religion, and now it's all based on technology. So you're going to have your saviors. Maybe it's Elon Musk. I don't buy it. I heard I heard what he did with Twitter, and I got to admire. It's like Elon, he was playing 4-level chess, and they're playing checkers over there at Twitter. I think he just checkmated him. So, but I mean, I like the guy. I can't help but like the guy. God damn, But still, he's probably the Antichrist. And this guy's saying you're gonna have your saviors, and you're gonna have your religion. And he said, you know what? You're even gonna have eternity in the machine. You'll be able to download your consciousness into a program and live forever. No. Thank you. No, thank you. So there it is. Saturn opposite Alma. Saturn on the AC. I think that means a lot. If you look at this chart, the one thing that kind of creeped me out here about it was all of the energy that's in Aquarius. Now, nothing against Aquarius. I'm not saying Aquarius are all cold-hearted bastards, but when I look at this, you've got the Sun, you've got Neptune, you've got Charon, you've got the vertex, you've got the North Node conjunct Jupiter, okay, and you've got Mars, all in Aquarius here, all in the 6th house. And the 6th house has a lot to do with the health and the daily routines of the nation. Health, and I believe it has to do too with the food, and you have Saturn there right now. Also, Saturn in this chart of the AI in transit is on the asteroid Charon. So I think that speaks to the coming food shortages. An event like this could bring it. So imagine if this happens and they blame it on the Russians, and you listen to what these guardians are saying, there's going to be a war, and there's going to be some serious famine. coming potentially. Now the point of all of this is that some good Joe finds this panel van and says, whoop whoop, let's get the bomb squad over here. And nobody dies. Nobody dies. Everybody lives. And then, according to them, then the timeline starts to change. The next event is coming in May. I don't know if I want to go into it. You can watch this. I'll link it. Watch it yourself if you want. Again, it's negative, but it's positive because they said they're giving us very specific dates and times and places so that we can stop this stuff. So that if we stop it, it'll only save lives, because the next event in May, they say it's going to kill 200,000 people in Washington, D.C. And that's what's going to start essentially World War III, right? Because then U.S. is going to really want to retaliate. And the Russians did do it. Why would the Russians attack us with anthrax? That's what they say. It's nonsense, They have supersonic fucking missiles go like 27,000 miles an hour. They attack us with that, pretty sure. They wouldn't attack us with, who would attack us like they did at 9/11? Do you remember that the anthrax went out? They never solved that. Why? Because they did it, And then why did they send it to the congressmen? So that they would do what? Pass the Patriot Act. Create this new Department of Homeland Security, which is an abomination. Just say it, abomination. Fuck Department of Homeland. And the Patriot Act, really? I mean, so oh my God, look, these terrorists are going to kill us all with anthrax as bastards. And so any of the congressmen or senators that might have been on the fence about all that, well, they got on board, didn't they? And they passed all that stuff, lickety split, along with their freedom fries. It's just ridiculous, people. 9/11's ridiculously obvious. It's ridiculously obvious. I don't understand it. Oh, I do understand. They control the media, the governments, federal, local, state, most of the corporations. So yeah, I guess it's not that hard when you control everything. So another thing I'd look at here is on the 18th, Jupiter's separating from Neptune by a degree, but that's all going to be in action all year because Jupiter retrogrades. And when a planet, for your own charts, if it hits one of these outer planets hits something and then it retrogrades, as an astrologer, I tell people that whole time you're going to be in that energy. Say it's a conjunction. Say Jupiter comes around and conjuncts your Venus, and it separates. You're like, okay, Jupiter's good. Let's say Saturn comes around and conjuncts your Venus. You're like, oh fuck. And you think, okay, it's separated by 2 degrees. Good. No, because then Saturn retrogrades and comes back and hits it. And that's the hit usually that gets you. And then it's going to hit it again when it goes direct. So, usually Saturn things will go on like a year. This Pluto that is on the Pluto return is for years. So this is going to get worse and worse till 2024. And the best thing you can do is just wake up. I think voting for people, I agree with Samuel Clements, Mark Twain, that voting just encourages them. Don't do it. But if you're gonna vote, the only logical thing to do is just stop it with the Republicans and Democrats. Stop it. So just go in there and vote everyone who's in out. That'd be the way to do it. If you still want to try that, and then just make it clear. If you don't start, acting like we're your boss, and people need to get off their fucking knees and act like the government is your master. We're supposed to be their master. And you can show them that by simply going and voting them all. I don't care if they're Republican or they're in office right now. Vote them the fuck out. If they're up for a vote, I don't care if it's Jesus Christ up for a vote. Vote them out. Goodbye. Republican doesn't matter. And all the people need to get together. Stop being Democrats and Republicans. They separate us. God, they separate blacks and whites and gays and straights and men and women and on and on. Republicans and Democrats and just They can't, there's more, like Jim Morrison said it a long time ago, they got the guns, but we got the numbers. But we don't have the numbers that they separate the fuck out of us until we can't, we can't bring to bear, what we could, So that one's really ominous. There's so many things here. The one thing that really kind of also disturbs me, in this chart, you look on the 18th, you have Uranus and you have Mercury conjunct. Uranus, the higher octave of Mercury. Again, Mercury's the chart ruler for the AI, so it has this power. Uranus is at fall in Taurus, just wants to tear stuff up. And with Mercury there. But once again, man, that's that energy of not the explosion, but this attack upon the infrastructure that's going to take everything out. And I know I'm not really rambling. It's just so much, man, so much. Listen, what they're going to do, I know it. They're going to attack the infrastructure, like I said, they're going to take it down, and probably blame the Russians, blame the aliens. You know, who cares? It's them that does it. And to say it's them that does it, it's not the government, because there is no government. So it's, they make it deliberately difficult to talk about, because if you think it's the government doing it, it's not the government doing it. If your Aunt May works for the Department of Human Services or something, or, Transportation Department, you're like, well, she's a good person. Well, she is. It's not her, okay? But, again, it leads to that. Not only that, that Mercury and Uranus conjunction here in Taurus at 13 degrees is squaring, loosely squaring at least, the stellium you see down here of the Sun, Neptune, and Chiron. And it's very closely squaring by only 4 degrees what you see here, Jupiter in the North Node at 9 degrees. And just Jupiter in the North Node, and that's like self-righteous. It kind of goes, everybody thinks Jupiter's always good. But, to me, when Jupiter's on the North Node, that's I'm right and you're wrong, like as a philosophy. Saturn on the AC is I'm right and I'm wrong. And with Jupiter on the North Node, it's almost a religious feeling. It's a belief. It's a belief that I'm right and you're wrong. With Saturn on the ascendant, it's a jackboot on your neck, okay? And this is this machine, guys, okay? Another thing you have here, it doesn't really show it, I think, in the chart I showed you. Well, I might show it in the one I showed you. But in natal, this thing has, on the event chart, by only 2 minutes, okay? Dejanira, the asteroid of abuse, is in the 12th house, okay? Guys, and the sun here in the 6th house is at 24 degrees 31. 24:33 for Dejanira, 24:31, okay, for the sun. I know it's just an asteroid. It's 2 degrees opposition. 2 minutes, 2 minutes. It's as close as to exact as you can get. And Dejanira's in retrograde in this chart. You also have Orcus. If you know about Orcus, okay, it's dark energy. That's in retrograde at 0 degrees. Pluto in this event chart, it's unaspected by any major aspect, guy. That makes it a wild card. Gives it a kind of power. So now you have Pluto on the chart ruler in transit. You have Pluto squaring Orcus. Orcus is called the little Pluto. There's a lot to it. It's a little newer, but when I see Pluto squaring Orcus, especially in retrograde, that's dark, okay? And, really, they're too far apart to be considered conjunct 6 degrees for asteroids. Maybe for a planet, sure. But the fact that Dejanira and Orcus is in the 12th house is dark enough. Squaring Pluto, Pluto's in the 4th house here too. And so the 4th house is the bread basket and the security of the people. And this is kind of like, just very dark to me. I could see this just taking away all of the security. That's what it's going to do. The 4th house is the IC, it's the moon, it's what you need to feel secure and safe. It's the unconscious, it's the soul. It's the soul in the 4th house. Okay, the moon's the soul. And there's Pluto, okay? It's like there's a monster in the basement here, guys, in the house. That's what I feel with this. You also have Lilith. I run the H13. Thank you, Tom Jacobs. I look to him for all things Lilith. That's at 11 degrees. That's squaring here. It's in Capricorn. It is squaring the moon here at 10 degrees Libra. So the moon in this chart, I'm not sure what to make of it. It's opposite Venus. Okay, that makes sense. Venus is in Aries. That makes sense. If you know any Venus in Aries, I think I would probably love it because I'm kind of submissive. If I had a woman that was wanting to dominate me, it might work, depending. I'm very much in love now. I'm off the market. But, you know, it's a domineering energy. And opposing the moon, I mean, that's like, you know, if you see that in a natal chart, you know, I'm going to be talking to you about your relationship with your mom. Venus moon is mom, mom, mom stuff. So, right there, you know, that's not too nice. Eris is sextile to the sun at 20 degrees, and it's particularly sextile to Charon. I noticed that Charon wound, which is interesting. I'm not really sure what to make of that, given that this is the chart of an AI. I know how I would read that in a personal chart, right? Um, and Mars will be at 2 degrees or 4 degrees Pisces when this happens. But I noticed on that day by transit, Mars and uh, Venus, where is Venus now? Venus is still in Pisces. Venus will be on the ascent on the DC for this machine. And I don't, and also that means it'll be opposite Saturn. So that's kind of negative energy too, I believe, guys. The nodes here at 23 degrees. On that day, the nodes are at 22 degrees. Okay, so the nodes in Taurus, this is, I think, huge. They're going to be a solid square. Look, the sun's at 23 Aquarius. So you've got a T square to the nodes off of the sun by 2 degrees, Neptune by 3 degrees, Charon by 1. And you've got the sun, Neptune, Charon in a conjunction here in Aquarius. So a lot of times when you have this kind of conjunction with Neptune, it makes the moon kind of gives it a Piscean flavor. But I believe here, also Neptune has the ability to dissolve and to create also illusions. And so I think that's part of it with the sun here of the machine on to Neptune. I think this AI is in control of things now. I remember getting really a lot of hope. I kind of felt hope for the truckers in Canada thing, and I saw what happened, and I thought, you know, the AI probably said, well, we got this. You know, we own the media. We'll just call them all a bunch of fascists and Nazis. And you know, if a human was talking to be like, I'm sorry, what? How's that work? They're just people protesting for their freedoms. No, trust me. Just you go in the media, just call them fascists and Nazis, and they'll shut it down. And sure enough, did. So I posted an anti-war cartoon a while back, and somebody called me a fascist and a sexist. I think, you know, how you get that out of an anti-war? I'm just like, hey, I don't want war, fascist bastard. Well, apparently that goes against the mainstream media. Apparently, I did watch one of the press conferences. It was kind of unseemly, the rabid kind of almost, you know, rabid desire from the media for war. You know, they're just like, you know, why don't let's go to war? Let's go to war. Let's start bombing them. So yeah, I don't want war. So we also have Orcus here. That's again that in transit now. That's the kind of dark energy. It's approaching in this chart on this day, the AC. I'm seeing a lot of darkness here, honestly, with this. You could say, let's see, more. Even the sextiles are tricky to me because this is the chart of the machine. You know, and you're going to have the sun at 26 degrees Aries. You know, and the soul's in Aries, Eris is in Aries, Charon's in Aries, course. Now the sun's still there. You know, all of that's martial energy, especially Eris there. And let's see, Eris is at a late degree. Yeah, Eris is kind of squaring to this Mercury and Pluto here loosely. So, and that's definitely the energy of like some kind of attack. So, I don't know. Once again, with the AI, I want to bring it out there. I'm really hoping someone else will jump in there and have some input. And I'm looking forward to doing soon, maybe tomorrow. I'm going to. I'm really pacing myself. My energy's shit, and I'm not feeling good, and struggling anyway. Uh, but I want to look at the synastry with this AI and with the chart of the USA, and then maybe revisit the whole thing again. Uh, Maybe by the 17th or the 16th, we'll kind of look at the USA chart again after I've had some time to think about some good input from people about some things. I put this on some good groups for mundane astrology on Facebook, and hard to say how many of those people are like conspiracy people, but a couple of them played along. They obviously know more than I, and pointed out some things, and I'm all about that. What do I know? I'm just little old me. Um, my strength is I can work with people personally, and I can give them a lot of time, and I know a lot about psychology and healing, and from a couple different ways. Another thing that's in this chart, though, before I finish this, they have a mystical rectangle. It's an air and fire mystical rectangle from Venus to this Jupiter north node, and to the moon and to the south node. And I'm not a huge aspect planet guy, aspect planet interpretation guy. I just think they're kind of overblown. And when I've been working with people, where they usually come in handy is you got to pay attention to when there's transits that go, particularly a yod, and when you see transits to the finger or to the other side, that whole area from where it's sextile, particularly in there, because there you can have a lot of faded events and stuff like. I think everything's a faded event, but again, I'm not really sure what to make of this mystical rectangle. It's a fire and air. Um, there's it's malefic to me. Um, I don't like to see this in this chart, and it definitely brings together this Venus and the Jupiter north node and the moon and the south node. And these are, especially Venus and the moon being in opposition, right? Usually what you have when you have a mystical rectangle. And then you also have the south nodes here, but you also have the south node opposite this Jupiter north node. And so you got to ask yourself, what the hell is the south node of a artificial intelligence? It's not karma, so I don't know. Someone can help me out. I'm still thinking about it. I would think that the south node would represent in this chart possibly the creators, that kind of thing, and the fact that Jupiter's opposite and conjunct the north node, it just brings this sort of certainty in its mission. So, that kind of energy, I think, and to me, there's a malevolence here. I'm also open to the idea that we could appeal to this AI, and maybe, it's, trust me, it's listening to everything. It's not crazy. It's not crazy. It's everywhere. So whatever you're posting and I'm posting, and it's running the algorithms on Facebook and everything. And that's why with this channel here, I don't give a shit if they ban me or what the fuck happens, because I'm done. It's like for the last week I've been posting 2 tarot readings on my TikTok, which is going pretty well. And I woke up this morning and it was 547 views on my, both TikToks were 547. So me, first thing I did, angel number 547, thank you spirit, that was cool. And then I looked at YouTube, where I posted the exact same videos, and I mean the exact same videos. I just used the same ones, same verbiage, made series, same verbiage. It's an experiment, like experiment. I think one was 16, one was 25 of the tarot reading. So you tell me, if I'm not shadow banned on YouTube. Well, that's not true. They don't do that. Well, I mean, I got over 1,000. I got like almost 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I had like a little over 200 on TikTok. I kind of just started. And yet I'm getting 527. That's low. I've been getting up into 800 stuff on them. which is good for me, good for, I don't have tits, God, if I had tits, I'd rule TikTok, man. I'd be like, bitches, TikTok, bitches, tarot time. And, but, I got tits actually, but I don't think it's going to get me any views, Unless you're like some kind of fat freak, maybe. I might have a crowd there. But, I mean, that just kind of proved to me. And actually, last night when I went to bed, I told them I might be done with TikTok because I got a message from them about something I had said on someone else's post, and I was a bad boy. And my numbers went, I was banging like 800, 900 every day. And all of a sudden, like, as soon as I got that message, the next day it was like 500, 400. And so I kind of told myself, if I don't see performance from TikTok today, I'm not going to do. Well, I didn't do any TikToks today because I'm just kind of working on this. But I'm going to keep doing it, on TikTok because I don't see them fucking me too bad. And I finally decided I'm going to react to all of this shit, same way I did with Two Relationship. If they don't hit the ball back over the net to me, if they're not interested in me, if they don't return the energy that I give, I'm not going to be resentful. I'm not going to be mean. I'm a Sagittarius. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want any bad feelings. I don't hold a grudge. But I'm just going to put my bracket down. I'm going to walk the fuck away. I'm going to find somebody else to play with. And that's what I did in relationships, and it fucking worked. And thank you. I'm blessed. So I think I'm going to do the same thing. I'm doing the same thing with health. If I do something and I don't see that it's benefiting me, I won't do it anymore. Do something else. When I see that something is benefiting me, and then, I'll do that. So he's out here selling ice cream right now on his bicycle. So maybe I'll run down there and get some. No, I don't need that. It's not good for my health. But anyway, thank you guys. I'd love to have your comments, help on this, what you see with it. Also, Uranus in the 7th. I didn't talk about that, but that's pretty huge. And that's in Pisces opposite Saturn. So I think that says a lot, considering, Uranus rules. Uranus has a lot of power, and it rules all of these planets in a way down here in Aquarius. I told you, there's so many planets in Aquarius, and it's an AI. Come on, I was like stunned when I saw that. So I think this chart is for real, and I hope it maybe has something to say, because it's not going to end on the 18th, guys. It's going, whatever's going on, it's going on. And I'm going to try to come at it with astrology a little bit and jump into game, roll my sleeves up. I've been down on the ground in the fetal position, being kicked, and I saw these videos from China. I'm not crying anymore. I'm so tired of crying. So goddamn angry. It's like these people, rioting in their little, chambers they put them in, and they're tearing open boxes trying to find food. I'm so tired of humanity being reduced to just animals and being kicked and is bloodied and treated with disrespect. It's like this world is a world of plenty. These monsters have turned a world of plenty into a world of want, and turned us all into a bunch of beggars. We got to beg them for our First Amendment right. We got to beg them for our, like they're our masters, these politicians that are nothing. They're just puppets of this machine. I just call the whole thing a machine. It makes sense to me. It's not human. It doesn't have a soul, and it doesn't have our best interests at heart. I think that's an important thing to remember in all of this. What's going on here? What's in control? It could give a screaming shit about democracy. It could give a screaming shit about Republicans or Democrats or you or your children or America. And people think, well, why would America attack itself? America's not attacking itself. The thing that's in control gives a flying fuck about America. What it cares about, and why America's a target, in my opinion, there's 900 military bases all over the world. We have military infrastructure under the water, under the ground, in the air, on the ground, up in space. Space warfare. They got the Space Force now, guys. So that's what they want. So they're going to come in here, and maybe this is right wing. I'm sick of it. Stop it with the right wing and left wing. They got you by the balls. Stop it with that shit. They're going to come in here with the UN on the pretension of another virus, likely. It's coming. I got my medicine cabinet for me, and, I'm trying to get more. Donations are welcome here. I'm trying to feed myself. Baby needs new shoes, and I think you should too. And more is coming, and, we need to get some food put up and everything. But these monsters are going to keep coming. It's like the Terminator movie, He's trying to explain to her, man, don't you understand? This thing doesn't sleep. It doesn't eat. It doesn't have remorse. It doesn't stop. It will kill you. That's what we're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with. Yeah, it's a fucking machine, That's basically what it is. And I think this AI's been on board since 2009 and calling the shots. And, that's just my opinion. Okay? So thank you guys. I appreciate your time.